Chapter 13, Alba. A steady stream of people were making their way through the gates. From a position between two trees in the woods, Osrith watched as the poor from the surrounding village, young and old, in ones and twos, or little groups were admitted into the castle. It had long been a custom that Christmas food was given to these people, and they would, in turn, offer blessings on their lord for his generous gift. Which king, Osrith did not know. Griogr had reported Domhnall's accession to the throne, and his coronation, yet he was Eochaid's kingmaker Giric, and his word was untrustworthy. For all Osrith knew, he was leading more Strathclydians and allying with the Norse to reinforce Dunaughter for Eochaid against Domhnall. Osrith just hoped that, whoever it was behind the walls, there were warriors ready for the surprise attack that was to come. It was remarkable what your brain thinks about in an emergency. Osrith had been thinking about possible numbers of warriors within the fortress and, afterwards, could never have recounted just how she had crept from the forest to the postern gate, the best way to the kitchens and the armory. Just as she twisted the latch, Osrith wondered whether, with the amount of people keen to bless their lord's generosity, Norsemen in disguise might easily have walked straight in. Osrith raked her fingers through her shoulder-length hair, dislodging twigs and leaves, massaging her scalp as she compelled her tired brain to work. And then, in the armor, she caught sight of her own reflection. Not much distinguished Osrith from those poor wretches coming to collect their best meal of the year. She knew exactly how to stand before the king. Joining the seemingly unending line of poor, Osrith stood behind a family of 5 and was immediately joined by an elderly couple. The old woman was being supported by her husband as snow flurries danced around them. Firewood, or a license to collect it, would be as valuable as food, and 1 or 2 people had emerged from Dunaughter with bundles wrapped up in thin wool blankets. She was hungry. Having eaten that morning, Osrith knew that it would not take much to convince anyone she was ravenous, and she shuffled further inside, past the huge, thick oak outer gates, past the inner gates and further along. Despite the cold, the main distribution of the food seemed to be put aside. Part of the courtyard had been covered with richly decorated cloths that Osrith recognized as having been in the throne room in King's time. Beneath it, many high-backed wooden chairs were arranged in a circle. Through the candles, which were lighting the passage, she could not make put who was sitting there, nor make out the guards, and Osrith fought to have patience and not blow her cover. A few more steps, and Osrith's heart began loosen. She recognized a few of the guards. They looked to be the same guards who had served, yet this did not preclude Eochaid, for he may just have inherited the guards. But that face did. Right in the center of the seat, with another smaller face looking almost identical to the king, was Domhnall. His long limbs and long face, his black hair with his uncle's circle at the top, all told her so, and suddenly, Osrith felt her legs shake, her hips wobble, as the desire to run, to scream her happiness to her king felt overwhelming. Osrith felt an arm lift her up before she hit the floor. "Soon be there, laddie," the man's voice encouraged, smiling kindly at Osrith. "The king is in a good mood today, tell them you have family too. Weak to join. You will, like as not, get a wood license." Osrith shook herself, blinking hard before turning to thank the man. Domhnall was there. She could tell him. As the line inched forward more, doubts became lodged in Osrith's mind. Would he be pleased to see her? Was she meant to have remained in Caeligwylid?